Excuse me. Yeah. You Can't Play Boxing podcast, episode 51. All right, damn. We moving. Yeah. So, what's up, everybody? Big weekend. Good times. Thank y'all for all fucking with me. Thank y'all for listening to the podcast. Podcast is growing. Matter of fact, the last episode was like one of the highest listening episodes. I think top 3. So appreciate all the new listeners. If you don't know, this your boy Timmy B. You Can't Play Boxing podcast. So check it out. You can check us out on all the podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, of course. Shout out to Spotify and the whole Anchor family. And of course, if you're looking for us on social media, check us out on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. Also, email us, youcan'tplayboxing@gmail.com. So we taking all, listening mail and everything. Man, this episode, big episode. We're going to talk about this weekend's fight we had, which was Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor for the undisputed title at 140. We're going to recap that. We're going to talk about all the big announcements that we had the last 2 weeks with first Anthony Joshua fighting Tyson Fury. Now Tyson Fury's fighting Deontay Wilder. And oh, by the way, we got Manny Pacquiao fighting Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Like, big summer we got coming up. Big summer. But before I get into that, like I always tell y'all, You Can't Play Boxing. It's a podcast about boxing and bullshit. So we're going to start off with some of the non-boxing news. Right now, going on, we got the NBA playoffs going on. I'm a big basketball fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big basketball fan. And so, playoffs kicked off unofficially last week with the play-in games. I live in the Bay Area, so I'm going to give you out the order of my basketball teams. So I've been a Knicks fan for 20 plus years. I know, I feel sorry for me. I've been a Knicks fan for 20 plus years. So they're my number one team. And then number 2, of course, I live in the Bay Area, so I got an affinity for the Golden State Warriors. So I'm a Warriors fan. And last week, it was kind of highs and lows. Start off with, as far as the Warriors go, we beat Memphis on Sunday to clinch the number 8 seed. Then we played LeBron and the Lakers in a close game. That shot LeBron hit at the end with a minute to go, basically. That was the game right there. So we lost to the Lakers last Wednesday, and then of course Friday at the Chase Center in the city in San Francisco. The Warriors lost. Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. Shout out to them. They won. They won fair and square. And Ja Morant did his thing. The Grizzlies as a whole did their thing. So I think the Warriors next year, we can be better. Of course, we're getting Clay back. And hopefully we get a good draft pick with this whole Minnesota thing. So we'll see how that go. Also, lottery too. So we'll see how that goes, period. And we might have, some trade chips with Wiseman. Who knows? So I think the Warriors will be better next year. But now on to my Knicks. The Knicks, game 1 was today where they played the Atlanta Hawks. You know what I'm saying? And then in that game, it was a close game, but the Hawks won by 2 points. I think the series as a whole is going to be a close series. I hope the Knicks pull it off, but, the Hawks is a talented team, so we'll see how that goes. Trae Young, I like Trae Young. I like him a little bit, but he got a little bit of that James Harden shit where he be like trying to like have niggas foul him, like putting his booty out and jumping into dudes. You know, I don't like that part. You know, if you're gonna get a foul, let them foul you, but don't be like hunting for fouls, you know. So that's the only part I don't like about Trae Young's game. And well, I think it's the only part, but it's a couple parts I don't like about his game. But I think the series will be a tough series, and we'll see how that goes for sure. So that's a little bit of the NBA talk. We're gonna slide right over to what I came here for, which is boxing talk. So this past weekend, we had a big undisputed light welterweight fight between Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. Both were undefeated. Unification fight. Whoever wins becomes the top dog at 140 pounds. So leading up to the fight, bro, we had a lot of noise that was talking, you know what I'm saying? Josh Taylor was doing a lot of talking. And Josh Taylor, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I've always underestimated him. Even with the Regis Prograis fight, I thought Regis was gonna win that fight. Because Josh Taylor, looks can be deceiving. He looks like a guy who, when the going gets tough, he may not hold up. But I ain't gonna lie, bruh. He been proving me wrong, so shout out to Josh Taylor, But needless to say, Josh Taylor, he was doing a lot of talking this week, getting into Jose Ramirez's head. I mean, even in the hotel lobby, they got into it, you know what I'm saying? And Josh Taylor was about to, fuck up the bag, to be truthful. I mean, because if he did what he did to the wrong person, somebody would have knocked his ass, would have tried to punch his ass. But I get what he was trying to do. He's trying to get in Jose Ramirez's head. They got into it, a lot of jawing back and forth. Jose Ramirez, he's out of Fresno, down there in the Central Valley. And, undefeated fighter, Mexican fighter, I'm not going to say typical, but he comes from that school, that Robert Garcia school of boxing. You know what I'm saying? And it was going to be an interesting fight. I think my thoughts going into the fight, I thought Josh Taylor is definitely the more skilled fighter. But I thought, again, I think when the pressure comes up, I was like, can Josh Taylor withstand that pressure that Ramirez is going to put on him? And I watched the fight, out of Vegas. Interesting fight. The first 4 rounds, I had it Josh Taylor up 3-1, you know what I'm saying? Then in the middle rounds, round 6, Josh Taylor hit him with something that I wasn't expecting. So he dropped Ramirez, Then in the 7th round, he dropped Ramirez with a killer uppercut. An uppercut that I don't think Ramirez saw or he was looking for. And those punches that you don't see are the worst punches, you know what I'm saying? So you got 2 10-8 rounds back to back. And after the 7th round, really, I had to fight like Taylor up 5 rounds to 2, plus 2 knockdowns. So he was up basically 5 points. And I think Taylor at that point kind of took his foot off the gas a little bit. Ramirez never really, I will give him credit. He was pushing. It wasn't always effective, but he was pushing. He didn't give up. He didn't fold. And, on my scorecard going into the 12th round, I had it 105 to 102. And I had Ramirez winning the last round. So I had the score 114, 112. So those 2 knockdowns were the difference in my scorecard. But I do think that Josh Taylor took his foot off the gas because he's like, hey, I'm up 5 rounds. I'm up 5 points probably. I'm up. And it's only like 4 more rounds to go, 5 more rounds to go. So do I think Josh Taylor would have fought the same fight at the end of the fight if he did have those knockdowns? Nah. But I'll give Josh Taylor a shout out to him. He's the undisputed 140 champion right now. Got all 4 belts. And it's interesting, bro. Like, where does he go from here? You know what I'm saying? Some people say he may have to do his mandatory. I know Bob Arum says he has a mandatory that he'll fight, and then possible fight with Teofimo Lopez at 140. Or does he go up to fight Terrence Crawford? We're gonna speak about Terrence Crawford in a second. You know what I'm saying? So Josh Taylor, being the undisputed champion at 140, definitely has options. And shout out to him, man. Like I said before, I didn't think you had what it took to be an undisputed champion. But like I always tell people, bro, like, sometimes you just got to show people. Sometimes it's not about what somebody think about you. It's about what you show them. And Josh Taylor showed me. He probably showed a lot of other people, that he's the real deal at 140. So shout out to Josh Taylor. Shout out to everybody, in this camp or whatever. What we going to do real quick, we're going to get into a lot of the stuff that's been happening in the last couple weeks. A lot of upcoming fight, a lot of upcoming heat coming this summer. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, 3. And what about this Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence? Sit back for a second. Check out these commercials. We'll be back in 1 minute. Shouts out to our sponsors. Luxury Apex is sponsoring this segment. LuxuryApex.com is where you can find the most premium colognes and fragrances for women and perfumes for women for great prices. Luxury Apex has premium colognes and perfumes from Chanel, from Tom Ford, also from Dior. And just for you listening to our podcast, You Can't Play Boxing, they got a special promo code for our listeners. If you type in the code Can't Play Boxing 25, you get 25% off from any item on the site. Luxury Apex includes free shipping, so give them a shout, man. LuxuryApex.com. Premium fragrances, top-notch designers. Let them know that You Can't Play Boxing sent you over there. Again, promo code is Can't Play Boxing 25. What's up? It's that time of the show where we kind of give a shout out to our sponsors. The sponsor today is Anchor. Anchor is everything you need to create your own podcast. You can use Anchor to distribute your show. They'll kind of get it out for you. And all you have to do is do it from your cell phone or your microphone, however you want to do it. But if you want to get your voice out there, if you want to talk to the people, there's no better place to do it than Anchor. So download the app, Anchor, or go to their website, anchor.com. It'll distribute your podcast on all platforms. So again, Anchor. You Can't Play Boxing podcast. We back. Yeah. Back in blood. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, bro, we right here. Second segment. We're going to talk about this whole Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua triangle. So, last week around this time, I started to do a special episode because I told y'all the last episode I was going to take, a couple weeks off. But, the news broke that last Sunday, Tyson Fury had agreed to the fight with Anthony Joshua, and it was officially on for August the 14th. So that happened again last Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And 24 hours later, and let me back for a second. And it was announced, of course, it was talked about that for that fight with Anthony Joshua, that was going to be $155 million site fee that was paid by the Saudi Arabia government. $155 million to be split. But 24 hours later, the arbitrator because Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury was in arbitration. 24 hours later, the arbitrator granted Deontay Wilder his third fight. And my whole thing was, if you listen to previous episodes, I always felt like Deontay Wilder deserved a third fight. It was in the contract. And of course, due to coronavirus, they scheduled a fight, but it didn't happen. And then it was just curious to me how it was predetermined or just dealt with as fact, like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua was just going to fight each other. I was like, am I missing something? Because everything I've seen from Deontay Wilder's camp and when he talked, he want that shit back in blood. So maybe I thought it was some shit wrapped up that I didn't know about. I'm just being truthful. Because you don't negotiate $100 million deals unless you got a good inkling that the shit's going to go your way. That's how I thought about it. If I'm Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, I'm like, did y'all not know this shit's going through arbitration? But again, I'm not doing the deal, so I can't say, what I'm saying, what they were thinking. Well, I know I know money was what they were thinking. So, but the arbitration, what I'm saying, was happening, and the judge ruled that Tyson Fury has to live up to the contract, which the contract indicated that there would be a third fight. So Tyson Fury has signed the contract on this past weekend. Supposedly the fight is going to be July 24th in Las Vegas. I'm going to be there. Yeah, I'm going to be there for sure. You know what I'm saying? But what we want to do real quick, let's listen to Tyson Fury and what he has to say about the entire situation. We're going to go to the ESPN interview that he had Saturday night on a Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez fight. So let's listen to what Tyson Fury has to say.
Today, a week ago, you speak to the Prince. I know how elated you were. Monday, you get the ruling, lose the arbitration. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking?
I'm just a fighting man. I just want to fight. No matter if it's Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, wherever it is, I want to fight. I'm happy that I'm fighting back in the home city of the Gypsy King. This is my town. Las Vegas is mine. So I'm very, very happy that we're going to be the first live gate at the big stadium.
Was there any real thought of paying Deontay a step aside? I know you're disappointed.
No.
You want all the money.
I pay him in ass whoopings.
All right.
Ass whoopings is what I pay him.
Okay. After you beat a guy, like you beat him last time, first time, does that make him more dangerous or less?
I think he's going to give it a good roll of the dice. This is his last hurrah. I've got his heart, his soul, his mojo, everything of Deontay Wilder. Any bit of substance of Deontay Wilder, I've got it right here in my pocket. I carry it around with me for the last 18 months.
You have a soul.
This guy is a glutton for punishment. He's an idiot. He got absolutely dismantled and smashed to bits in our last fight, and he wants that all over again. He was telling people I've cracked his skull, I've injured his shoulder, I've done his bicep, but yet he wants to get in with me again. He's either one or two things, absolutely crazy, or he's a sucker for...
Yeah, so y'all listen to the interview. You heard what Tyson Fury said, right? He said either Deontay Wilder is crazy or he has a glutton for punishment. So, needless to say, bro, we're about 2 months away from that fight, 60 days away. And to me, there's a little bit of truth in Tyson Fury's statement. This definitely is going to be a crossroads fight. This is a career-defining fight. This is and I'm not even putting extras on it. This is going to be a career-defining fight for Deontay Wilder and possibly Tyson Fury. From Deontay Wilder's standpoint, he got embarrassed. Not only did he lose for the first time, he was knocked down repeatedly. His ear was bleeding. Went to the hospital. Didn't look the same. Came up with a bunch of excuses. No, not excuses, but what he said happened, That's his truth. Fired his long-term trainer, Mark Breland. You didn't hear from him. You still really haven't heard from him nothing but a few times since it's been 18 months almost, 17 months. 15 months, my bad, 15 months. 15 months, you don't hear from Deontay Wilder a handful of times, which I get. When you lose, ain't really nothing to say right now. But he went from being the most feared man in the heavyweight division to being what some people are calling a crybaby, an excuse maker, a sore loser. Where did you go from there? Now, we'll give him credit. A lot of lesser men who doubt themselves, they would have, he had every reason and he had every option if he didn't want to fight Tyson Fury. He had every option to say, you know what, I don't want to exercise my rematch clause. He had every option, even at the exercise of rematch clause, when the coronavirus hit. After that, you know what? I'm going to go and let it pass. Y'all, you can go ahead and fight Anthony Joshua. I'll catch up with you later. He had every option after the Anthony Joshua fight was made, and he won the arbitration to say, you know what? Give me some money. I'll step aside. Just give me a guarantee. But he ain't do that. He's been consistent that he wants this shit back in blood. So I beg to ask yourself, is he crazy? Or does he know something that we don't know? So if you've been following Deontay Wilder on social media, he's been showing that he's working out with Malik Scott, former heavyweight contender. And, everybody looks good in videos. Because in videos, you can edit the shit. You look good in video. So I'm not really tripping off that. I don't really trip off the videos. I am looking at his actions. And I think he believes that retribution is mandatory. Now, whether or not he believes it was some shit that happened in February 2020, I take him at his word. He probably do believe that. But this fight in 2 more months, it's going to be a career-defining fight. career defining. It's going to go at least two ways. Tyson Fury is going to embarrass him again, or Deontay Wilder is going to show that he's still a force in this heavyweight division. Because you look at option A, if Tyson Fury embarrasses him again, we're probably looking at the last heavyweight fight from Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's made money in the heavyweight division and fighting in boxing. I don't think he's one of the guys that's going to be chasing belts or chasing relevancy. I think if he loses twice, he's probably going to hang it up. He's probably going to say that I'm done with it. But I think that if Deontay Wilder wins the fight, and I believe he has an opportunity to win the fight. I think if Deontay Wilder fights Tyson Fury 10 times out of 10, there's only two ways to beat Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, based on his boxing skills, just natural boxing ability, he's going to win 4 to 5 rounds, just being who he is, being his size, being the way that he moves. He has 4 to 5 rounds in the bank. So if you're Deontay Wilder, you got two roads, two pathways to win. You don't got to change your entire program when it comes to boxing. Still be you, but build off that jab. Use the jab to set up your right hand and stay aggressive. If Deontay Wilder lands his right hand, and the power didn't go nowhere. Confidence could have gone somewhere. Power didn't go nowhere. But if Deontay Wilder pumps that jab, lands with the right hand, he can still knock Tyson Fury out. You can't bank on that, but you can still knock Tyson Fury out. But what you can bank on, just being aggressive and being the power that you have, and how Tyson Fury, it's possible to feel that power. You got to use your jab. You got to be aggressive. You can't be on your back feet. If Tyson Fury is the aggressor in a fight, that's going to be a telltale sign. But Tyson Fury has to watch out. If he's the aggressor, I said before, you the aggressor on Deontay Wilder, pre the last fight, you walking through that door, he got a cannon waiting for you. And I wouldn't keep trying to get shot with that cannon. Tyson Fury, he was able to get up 2 times. I wouldn't test your luck 3 times. So I say this to say that, Deontay Wilder can win the fight. It would never be an easy fight fighting Tyson Fury. He's 6'9". He can move like a motherfucker. He got hella boxing skills. It would never be easy fighting him. But I do think that that it's possible to beat him. And if you're Tyson Fury, I think you look at it like, hey, I just need to build off what I did before. Still keep my boxing skills. Maybe be more aggressive. Take away what he wants to do. And then I can win this fight. So, again, we're 2 months away. I'm very interested in this fight. It's going to be a career-defining fight. And if you're Anthony Joshua, you're looking at the WBO. They ordered him to fight Usyk, which is a good fight. I think Anthony Joshua wins, but Anthony Joshua has that scar tissue too. Anthony Joshua is he's not fully over that Ruiz knockdown. And you can see in the last couple fights, when the fighters were aggressive, he had flashbacks to Ruiz. So if Usyk can get on the inside, and if he can make Anthony Joshua feel his power or just his skills, Joshua could have a flashback. But if I had to bet, I would pick just Joshua's size and his reach. I would pick Joshua to win that fight against Usyk. But Usyk has to make it uncomfortable for Anthony Joshua. And it doesn't take much to make it uncomfortable. I mean, it's easy for me to say I'm not in the ring with him, but I'm not getting, I'm not getting punched in the face with him, but you got to make it uncomfortable with him. You got a better shot then. So it's a lot of heavy, lot of things going on. We got a lot of stuff happening this summer. And speaking of things happening this summer, a huge announcement came out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. It's been talks they were talking. But it was announced that Manny Pacquiao is going to fight Errol Spence August 21st in Las Vegas. Another fight I'm going to be at. The summer's heated up, y'all. So I was surprised, bro, because there's always been talk where Manny Pacquiao was said to not want to fight Keith Thurman because it's too much for him at this age. Which I agree. Keith Thurman can be a lot at 42 years old. But if Keith Thurman is a lot at 42, Errol Spence is he's a hell of a lot. He's strong. He's big. No. Pause on that one. Anthony Joshua. I mean, so Keith Thurman. I'm sorry. Errol Spence is way big. He's active and he's smart and he's in his prime. And if you're 42 years old and you Manny Pacquiao and you haven't fought since July 2019, it's going to be 2 years of you not fighting. This is not an easy fight after a 2-year layoff. Not an easy fight at all, man. So I will give Manny Pacquiao mega, he got hella heart for even taking this fight at 42 years old. Most 42-year-olds would not take this fight. You couldn't pay them enough money to take this fight. But Pacquiao's taking the fight. Of course, I'm favoring Errol Spence. But Pacquiao, he's an all-time great. So regardless of what happens, in this fight, you can't diminish what he's done. If he wins, he's probably top five, top 7 fighters of all time in my book. If he loses, he's still an all-time great Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. So it really doesn't take anything from him. And if you're Errol Spence, if you win, you get a name on your resume. And you're catapulted to welterweight stardom. And you have 3 out of the 4 belts at the time. So the only belt you'll be missing is Terrence Crawford belt. And if you Terrence Crawford, you feeling extra salty right now because the Pacquiao fight is a fight that Terrence Crawford has running for years. It's been talks. You can get the fight. Bob Arum said, you can get the fight. We're going to set it up. And regardless of whatever, Bob Arum was unable to deliver. Now I heard Bob Arum say that he was trying to do the fight in Dubai because they was going to give a lot of money up. And to try to do the fight in the United States is too big of a risk as far as what you have to pay them and whether or not you can get that money back in live gate due to coronavirus. So I get that. But I will say Terrence Crawford ain't trying to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I think this development is not going to help top rank as far as keeping Terrence Crawford. On a business front, I think Terrence Crawford, this is another opening that he can use to leave Top Rank soon. So we got a lot of things going on. Looking forward to that fight. Looking forward to everything's happening. Next week we're gonna be back. We got a fight next week. We got Devin Haney fighting Linares. Good fight, good step up competition for Devin Haney. So we'll be back for that fight and to recap that fight. Again, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Check us out on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. Check us out on website Can't Play Boxing. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, You Can't Play Boxing. And until next time, y'all. Oh yeah, email us too. You Can't Play Boxing. Rate, subscribe, and leave a comment. You know what I'm saying too. So until next time, y'all. Peace.